All right, back out on the trap line today. Caught that coyote yesterday, and sure enough, got one bouncing over here behind me today. This property's just really around the corner from where I caught the one yesterday, and this is the same location that I caught my first one this year. This trap's been out for 8 days. I set them a week ago yesterday, so 8 days today. Finally produced. Looks like another beautiful coyote. He's a little bit muddy. We got snow melting here in Ohio, so everything's just a soupy mess. But my other set, which is a remake, that's where I caught my first one this year, was dug up. So we're gonna reset that one, dispatch this coyote. But I wanted to talk again about this setup. There's a lot of videos out there, but I don't see a ton of them talking about where exactly they set. So I'm just in a very big cut bean field. There's a tree row with standing corn on the other side. And then there's this waterway that holds a decent amount of water, dumps out into that same tree row. And I had that set right in the corner of the waterway and the tree line. And I set the trap with the dirt hole so the wind is blowing basically off the back side of the dirt hole into the tree line. So he has to circle around and come in, and the trap will be between him and the dirt hole itself. That's something I didn't do last year, and I think it's helping me a lot this year. If you have an opposing wind, I think a lot of times they'll circle in the backside, and that may be why my other trap was dug up. But I figured with that standing corn, maybe they'd travel on this side, just be a little bit easier for them, and sure enough, it produced. So we'll get a closer look at him here, and yeah, like I said, get it reset and go from there. He's got quite the muddy catch circle there, but another beautiful, beautiful coyote. Now that we're a little bit closer, here's the tree row. A lot of standing corn on the other side, big standing cornfield. And then that waterway just dumps right out here. Trap was right here, set up for a wind blowing straight to the tree line. Awesome. So to talk a little bit about this catch, typically you want a full commit, which basically means he stepped all of his weight down onto that trap. And we definitely do not have that here. It's basically a toe catch, which we'll do, but he probably came in a little nervous. Maybe he's the one that dug up my other set. I don't know for sure, but that's what we have here. So we'll get it back in the ground and I'll show you guys the finished set. So something I'm gonna do the same is use this rock. Here's the trap that I use. It's the same trap. There's a ton of scent and everything over there already, so any coyote cruising this line again is gonna come and investigate. But I use this rock as my backing. I've tried this out before. I caught one last year. You're doing the same thing. I think it prevents them from digging out the backside or approaching from the backside, and it's something natural. You know, there's rocks out all over this field. So having a rock here isn't super out of place. I'll put my dirt hole right here, my trap right here, again with the wind coming across the back like this. I'll show you guys the finished set here in a bit. All right guys, I'm filming this by myself today, so I apologize if it's poor quality. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm gonna just try to run through quick how I made this set. I'm gonna remake it exactly the same way I caught that coyote. So again, bear with me. I know it's not gonna be the best quality, but I changed things up from the first trapping video I made. I'm no longer using those 2 buckets. I actually take this little kid's red sled, and I use that because if I get one, I can lay him in there and pull him super easy so I don't have to carry him. And then I have a bucket with my peat moss that I use to cover my trap and my bait, and then I have this, it's just a tool bag. It's a Heart tool bag, and I keep everything else in there. So my stakes, my drivers, my hammer, my knee pad, my sifter, all that stuff is in there. And that's been way easier than the 2 buckets. So forget what I said in an earlier video, this is a lot better. So this is an MB550. It's just a 2 coil spring trap, and we'll go ahead and reset it exactly how I had it before. It looks like he bent my dog a little bit, So I may have to try to bend that back or just use a different trap. We'll see. But again, I'm gonna use this rock as my backing, put my dirt hole right here, and then the trap in here. It's a little bit wet, but we'll make do with what we got. So first I'm gonna check this dog and see if I need to bend it. Oh no, that'll be perfect. That'll be perfect. Good deal. I'm gonna go ahead and fire that off though, because I don't want to set yet. Okay, first things first, I'm gonna angle this rock the way I want it. Like I said again, I always want my trap in a location where he's gonna approach this set from downwind. I think they probably do that just like any other animal to try to, you know, keep them safe. Their noses are pretty good, and they feel confident in their ability to do that and kind of investigate before they commit. So a positive of this wet, nasty weather is, like I said, I'm making these dirt hole sets and digging it out. This is like a hammer little shovel thing. It's pretty easy right now. Something else I've really made sure to do is angle this hole in a way that he's got to come and basically stick his nose down to even see what's in there. A lot of times last year I would put it basically just straight up and he could come in from any angle and look down it. Now it's angled towards me, so he has to come around here to even see what's in there. Okay. Something else I'm doing now is you got to imagine and picture, this is basically where a dog, like if you ever watch your dog bury a bone in the yard, they come in, dig, okay? And then they bury that bone. So when I make that hole, I dig a little bit out as well, so it looks like there's been a coyote here kind of pawing that ground away. Right, wrong, indifferent, I truthfully don't know, but that's what I've been doing, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Okay, go ahead and cut out my trap bed here. And I try to just make my trap bed basically a square. And something else I've changed this year with that is not making it so big. I just want my trap to sit in there nice and snug. And the tighter it is in there, you can kind of manipulate the ground around it to almost pinch it into place. And that seemed to be a game changer for me as far as bedding traps. That was kind of frustrating last year because I wasn't very good at it. And I don't know that it really has to be perfect. A lot of guys will tell you it does, but I think if you have it in the right location, it doesn't necessarily matter as much. So I am using my Uncle Fred, who's taught me pretty much everything I know about trapping. Gave me these super cool just rebar stakes that he made, and then he welded on basically a top piece so that the chain can't come off. And I'm just gonna drive this into the ground. Not going anywhere. Pull on that. These have shock springs on them too, and a bunch of swivel, so that coyote can pretty much turn and go any which way and he's gonna be completely fine. All right, now something else I've been using this year and never used last year. This is just polyfill, basically pillow stuffing. You can buy this at Walmart for like $3 and it comes in a bag where you'll pretty much never use all of it. There's a ton in there. I'm gonna put that underneath of my pan, so if any of my peat moss or dirt gets underneath, or I guess not so it can't get underneath. All right, so when I put my dirt and my peat moss over it, nothing can get under there and prevent that pan from going down when he steps on it. We'll set it into place. Okay, heard it click. They're night latched, which is pretty cool. Lay this chain, I'm gonna hide this chain in a second. See what I need to do. So I know you probably can't see there, but I'll explain it. I made this trap bed basically just as big as the jaws. And now what I'm gonna do is cut out for the levers here so it just will sit right down in. Because right now it won't fit. Literally just gonna pound that down a bit. I may need to go further. We'll find out in a second. Okay, see if that fits any better. Perfect. That is not budging at all. That is absolutely perfect. Something else I'm gonna do too though, it's pretty cold out. It's like 30 something right now, so it's gonna be below freezing. I don't want this trap freezing to the ground. I don't have wax dirt. So I'm just gonna take peat moss. That's what I cover my traps with. But I'm gonna put some in the bed of the trap to hopefully kind of have some separation there. This trap is already all muddy and wet from him, you know, moving around in it. So we'll kind of line the bottom with that before we lay it in here. Okay. Okay. And I'm probably, I don't know, 9 inches back from my hole, and I just come straight back. Some guys will offset it. I don't know if there's a right or a wrong. I just usually come straight back. That's worked for me. And then something else, like I said, I'll just kind of push the dirt around this trap and almost pinch it into place. I just use my hammer to do that, and it kind of secures it. I learned that from Mark Zager from Coyote University, and that helped me a lot this year bedding traps. So take some of this leftover mud and dirt and hide my chain back in here, get that back into place like so. Okay, some of this other stuff will probably just kind of pile it up around, make it look like, you know, a dog or a coyote came or a fox came and dug some stuff up. Okay, now I'm gonna take the rest of this peat moss and just cover up my trap like so. And you always, well, I shouldn't say this because I don't know for sure. I always cover my trap and then just take my hand like so, move it around gently until I find where that pan is, and I uncover the pan. You won't catch yourself if you don't press down. I have these set at 3 pounds of pan tension, so I mean that's kind of a lot of pressure. So as long as you're just kind of brushing it, you'll be fine. Find that pan just so I know where it's at for now. I'm gonna kind of mess all this stuff up, make it, you know, really kind of look like something was here and dug all kinds of stuff up. I shouldn't need a ton of eye appeal because, like I said, we have this, you know, giant catch circle with a bunch of scent behind me, but I'm still gonna make this look fresh. Okay, and now I'm gonna just lightly cover up that pan. I want that to be the lowest spot of my trap, so he naturally wants to step there. And I don't want any big clumps over it. Just a nice soft spot where he naturally may want to step, okay? And that's pretty much it, okay? I need to add some bait. I don't even know if I want to add lure because, like I said, there's all kinds of scent behind me here. I may just go ahead and do it just because, to try it out, but I don't know that you need to. So if I can get these wet, muddy gloves off. That's another thing. A lot of guys will wear, and I did last year, 2 different pairs of gloves. One for your trapping stuff, your trap itself, your hammer, all that jazz. And some guys will wear a separate pair for their bait and lure. I just ended up going bare hand for this. I mean, as long as you don't touch it, you won't really smell like it. Put a little bit of fox urine up on that rock. I'm gonna throw some, this is, it's called Blackie's Blend. It's a 3 meat blend. I'm gonna throw that down in there. It's actually made here in Ohio, that's cool. Just gonna find some bean stubble and throw some of that down in there. I may actually first, what I'm gonna do, since it's pretty wet down in that hole I dug, it's just gonna fill up with water. I'm gonna throw some sheep's wool down in there first. I usually do this second. I'm gonna throw some first. That way there's kind of some separation between the water, the bottom of the hole filled with water, and this bait. Okay, and I'm not using a ton. They got good noses, not using a ton at all. Stuff that down in there a bit. Seal this up. And then throw some more sheep's wool on top of it. And just push that down the rest of the way. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good. Next, I am gonna add some lure. The reason why everyone I ever have listened to, they say on remakes you don't really need to add any more. I'm going to, for the sheer fact of I did a remake on the coyote I caught yesterday and I didn't do it. So I'm gonna do it on this one just to change it up and see which one works first, if either of them work at all. This is from Jeff Dunlap. It's called Hellfire, and this stuff is potent. I feel bad every time I order some and the mail lady has to come deliver it because she's probably like, what on earth is that? But I think it works. I think every coyote I've caught, I've used this. Okay, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna add like a couple little bean stubbles around here just to kind of guide his foot a little more. I don't personally like adding a bunch of guides. I think it doesn't look natural, so I'll just do a little bit and then that's it. That's my remake. All right, so here is my finished set. Again, rock as my backing, so hopefully if he happens to circle around, which I doubt they will, like I said, because the wind's coming this way, he can't dig up my hole, which is here. That's got my sheep's wool, my bait, my lure in it, and the trap is literally right there, okay? So just like the catch I had, him right there, hoping he comes in to investigate, to look down this dirt hole, and boom, steps right on that pan, have another catch. That's it. Thank you guys for watching.